Every January, we're told to start over, but real progress doesn't happen overnight. Nutrafol, best-selling hair growth supplement brand, targets key root causes of thinning hair. You get visibly thicker, stronger hair in 3 to 6 months. I'm recommending that Dylan, maybe he does this. Todd, are you interested in this?
I don't know. I've kind of got used to my hair kind of the way it is, but it's something that I will take under advisement, meaning the wife.
Okay. Paulie, what about you?
I could use a little tidy up front. The runways are a little loose. The back half is fine. The runways are a little sparse.
Skip the shortcuts. Marvin, I'll ask you, are you interested in some hair?
Nah, I'm going to keep the milk dud I got going on right now.
Okay, the milk dud. I like that. Visit Nutrafoil.com, Nutrafoil.com. Use the code Dan Patrick. Man who is bald, Reggie Miller, joining us on the program. When did you go bald?
Why didn't you ask me? Maybe it's time.
Did you choose baldness?
I chose it. If I didn't cut my hair, it would grow in. It wouldn't be great. I couldn't get a fro or anything, but I could use a little, could I get a little mullet or a little mohawk going a little bit?
But if Jordan didn't shave his head, like it became cool once Mike did it, right?
And then everyone started to do it. Anything Mike did, everyone's, be like Mike. Everyone wanted to be like Mike.
Reggie Miller, full introduction. He was on the call for the Warriors-Clippers last night. Snoop Dogg joining you there in the second half. I thought he did a good job.
So cool.
I thought it was fun.
He did a great job. He was well prepared. He did his homework. He came in all the coaches' meetings. He did pregame interviews. I think you guys saw with Stephen Curry. He just wasn't showing up to be a pretty face. He put in the work, and the game helped because it was a great game. It was a one-possession game. Last-second opportunity for Jimmy Butler. Steph had fouled out, and it was a game that the Clippers obviously continued to need it because they got off to that rough start, 6-21, but have won 7 of 8. So he did his job.
Steve Kerr had some comments. I don't know if it was this past week or last week where he's kind of saying, hey, trying to win championships each year, that's not going to happen anymore. And I'm paraphrasing here, but it felt like there was backlash from the Golden State fans who were like, wait a minute, kind of sounds like you're surrendering that you don't have a championship caliber team. Was he being correct in what he was saying?
Well, currently constructed, he's correct. They don't have a championship team. They're just missing something. And I think why the fan base is upset. They're like, wait a minute. We just traded to get Jimmy Butler. Wasn't that supposed to be one of those missing pieces to help us get back to the championship mountain? And when I look at the Warriors, and I just hope they're not wasting these last 2, 3, 4 years for Stephen Curry, because he can still, at a high level, get you to the promised land. They just need players. And I equate it to this. You need certain players for 16 games, and you need players for 82 games. Yeah. And Jimmy Butler, Stephen Curry, Draymond Green are 16-game players. Get me to the playoffs, and then we'll take over. It's the grind is what's the problem for the Golden State Warriors. They don't have enough scoring for 82 games. Stephen Curry can't do it like he used to do it with Klay Thompson when they were younger. So the margin of error is very small. And I think the fan base is upset because you've got a young player like Jonathan Kuminga, who's just sitting there collecting $22 million, who was supposed to be one of those players for 82 games, and he's not delivering.
Man, his name comes up all the time in trade talks. Like for the last, it feels like 2 years at least. Why don't they trade him?
I think they're exploring their options. I would be surprised if he is a Warrior past the trade deadline, because again, I think Golden State has to make another trade for a player just to come off the bench and get you buckets, to give Steph and Jimmy Butler some breathing room because there's no way they're going to make it to the finish line in the Western Conference. This would bode well if they were in the Eastern Conference because there's really only 2, maybe 3 teams playing at that high of a level, but not in the Western Conference. You'll tax them too much.
Are you all in on the Clippers now? All of a sudden, are the Clippers formidable?
Yes. The problem, a lot like with Golden State, we saw last night, they're the 2 oldest teams. Yeah. And they don't run a lot, and they rely a lot on their half-court offense, which has been great lately, but more importantly, their defense has stepped up. When they were last year, what made them great was their defense. And I think over the last 8 ball games, they have the best defense in the league. Now, I know it's a small sample size, but they've won 7 of 8, and it's because of their defense. Can they continue to play like that? We'll see. What helps is Kawhi's healthy and playing, and you see the numbers. But is he going to go through one of those stints where he plays one game, doesn't play? Right now, he has to play. Harden didn't play last night because of shoulder stiffness. But again, their margin of error, it's very small because those guys can't take nights off because there's not enough scoring on the back end of their roster.
Talking to Reggie Miller, he was on the call last night, the Warriors and the Clippers. Steve Kerr getting thrown out of that game. Yeah. Steve's not having a good year.
Well, and why do you say that?
He just seems like he's frustrated. The Draymond Green stuff, they're not, they're a little better than average. I don't know. Maybe he's really coaching harder than he's ever had to coach. It used to be easy when you just said, go out there and have some fun and shoot some threes, guys.
Again, that's why it's the beauty. When you've been to the mountaintop like Steve has been as a player, he's won 5 chips, 4 times as a coach with the Warriors. I think at times you can become complacent, and I think he's trying to show his fan base as well as his team. If you want to continue to be great, there's sacrifices that have to be made, and there's tough choices that have to be said. And the butting of head with Draymond Green, you would be surprised that happens all the time. I mean, you're a family, and as long as those guys have been together and all the wars that they've been through, I kind of give them a long leash because I think they're allowed to kind of speak to one another that way because there's history there. And I just hope it never comes to a head because Draymond Green is the perfect player for this team because without him, I mean, he leads this team in assists, point forward. The problem has been his offense because teams are just daring him to shoot. And if you watched the game last night, to start the game, he had 3 or 4 wide open threes. He makes 2 or 3 of those. The Warriors are almost running away with this game because the momentum would have been on their side. But it is what it is.
You have coaches, former players who become coaches, but it's rare when a really successful player becomes a head coach. You had Larry Bird there, but what is it about the role player becoming a head coach over maybe an all-star kind of player becoming a head coach?
Well, I mean, you kind of look at J.J. Redick, Steve Kerr, guys that were somewhat at the, you say role player or into the bench. I think they can look at they can see what the star player goes through. They can see what a role player who plays, 12 to 15 minutes a game, and they can see a guy who never sees the light of day, and he can kind of weave his way and act like all 3 of those different proponents. And I think that's what makes them successful because they can relate to all 3 of them. Again, playing for Larry Bird and Isaiah Thomas, another Hall of Famer. Personally, for me, it was a joy because I played against those guys. I knew how they prepared, and then to be coached from them, from my standpoint, it was great. I don't know if it was great for the younger players, but for us older guys like Mark, Sam Perkins, Derek McKee, we all went against Larry Legend. We respected him. It was a lot of pressure to play for him, but it was worth it because that's what we wanted. That's what we signed up for.
Can you talk back to a legend?
I think there's respect there. Look, I'm from this military. There's no talking back. There's got to be a chain of command. Now you may have disagreements, you may have arguments in practice, but during a game, I don't think it never rose to that. You're right, I'm right, you're wrong. It never rose to that. You got to be respectful to your coach, and you can handle that stuff in the locker room. You never want to do that on the bench or where other people can peer in and know what your family business is going on.
Trae Young used to be a big deal with the Hawks. That was a good story. It was a few years ago. He's celebrating against the Knicks in the Garden. He's playing in the Eastern Conference Finals. His numbers look really good. He's in his prime, and he's on the trading block. What happened with this story?
Here's the problem. And sometimes it's getting success too early. You mentioned it. I think his decline really started after the Hawks went to the conference finals and lost to the Milwaukee Bucks, the eventual champions. And I think things came too easy for him. And again, I'm not in their practices. I don't follow them day to day, but I hear things. And when you hear things that players don't like playing with him, he doesn't practice hard. He doesn't come early and work out. He certainly doesn't stay late and work on his game. When I hear comments like that, I hope they're not true because I think he is an unbelievable talent and he can help a team out. The problem is he's small. He's not going to grow. He's not very big. He's slight. So he gets taken advantage of at the defensive end. And if you're not going to work on your game, if you're not going to bulk up, look at Stephen Curry. I mean, they were almost the same size at one point. And you look at Curry now, how much he has bulked up, continues to work on his shot like it's going out of business. I don't know if Trae works like that. I don't know if he's committed to working like that. So if you're the Hawks, you have a decision to make. What can you get in return for him? And the longer they wait, those kind of returns start to go down. It's like the stock market. So, but I know we've seen him on display in New York. We know he's a ice Trae. We know what he can deliver. Is what can you get for him? And going forward, how is Trae going to act wherever he goes?
Joker's out of the MVP conversation. SGA and the Thunder have lost, 5 of their last 10. Can we somehow slip Cade Cunningham into the MVP conversation?
Yes, and I'm surprised more people are not speaking about Cade. We had a chance to do a game up close and personal. Their last game on that long West Coast road trip versus the Lakers, and they beat the brakes off the Lakers. And Cade Cunningham, look, for those of you who are late to the party, overall number 1 pick out of Oklahoma State. And for his size at 6'5", 6'6", being a point guard, controls the whole action. And it helps now that Jalen Durham has kind of grown into being that force down low for them. They have a great 1-2 connection and chemistry between those two. He plays defense. Yeah, I think on the back end, you've got Luka will be mentioned. It's unfortunate. I don't know if Joker will qualify for those games. SGA will be in the running. I don't think Giannis is going to qualify, but he'll have the type of numbers. But Cade should certainly be in the discussion for MVP. No question.
Yeah. It's just they're not a glamour team in a glamour town. SportsCenter is not going to be leading with Detroit, and they're the number 1 seed right now. I mean, they're gonna force feed you the Knicks, even the Celtics, but Detroit's just not. They're not going to get national attention, and that's a shame because he's averaging 27, 10, and 6 for a team that proved that last year was no fluke with them.
Second best record in the association behind OKC. But this is kind of on par for the Pistons, right? They were the bad boys. Isaiah, they had great players, but they didn't get a lot of love. Back-to-back champs. Same thing with Chauncey's team in 2004. It was 5 guys: Tayshaun Prince, Rip Hamilton, Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace. But they weren't a sexy team. What did they do? They won a championship. This current Detroit team is cut from the same cloth. They've got one star on the verge of being a superstar in Cade, an up-and-coming great young player and center in Jalen Durham. But you think, well, who else is really on this team? Isaiah Stewart is the Ben Wallace of the team, the tough guy, but you couldn't name anyone else. JB Bickerstaff is doing a great job. And yes, everyone likes to push, and rightfully so, Jalen Brunson and the Knicks. But those are the 2 top teams in the Eastern Conference. And look, they went head-to-head last night, and what happened? The Pistons smacked them. So that was a message game, because last year during the playoffs, Brunson was doing all the kissing to the fans after hitting threes. And he wanted to make the Pistons wanted to make a statement that it's going to be very difficult this year for you to come in this building and be successful.
You got the Spurs and the Thunder next Tuesday. Yeah.
Is this becoming the best rivalry? Is this becoming one of the best rivalries?
I hope it is.
Yeah, I hope so too, because to beat OKC, you've got to have a number of things. You've got to have guards that are committed to pick up full. That's exactly what the Spurs have in Castle, Vassell. De'Aaron Fox is one of those closers. And Wemby, they have Chet, the champs. The Spurs have Wemby. It is 2 young teams, and there's a little bit of a crack now. In a 7-game series, I probably would still take OKC right now because of experience. But the beauty of this is the Spurs aren't afraid of them.
Yeah.
And a lot of teams are afraid of OKC.
I like it. Hey, great to catch up with you. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you, Reg.
I appreciate you, Theodore. Welcome back. Happy New Year, Danettes.
Reggie Miller, Hall of Famer, and the lead analyst for NBC, and he'll be on the call Tuesday, January 13th, Spurs at the Thunder.